We are all Melburnians now. That's the message from the Prime Minister. And as the metropolitan Melbourne prepares to lock down tonight, 134 new cases recorded in the last 24 hours, the second highest daily tally after yesterday's 191. Victoria currently has 860 active cases. Majority of the 88 active cases, nearly 880 active cases across the country. WA has 12, Queensland 7, South Australia 3, the NT 1, the ACT and Tasmania with no active infections. You can see that asterisk next to New South Wales where there's 5 active cases, but that state is the only one not including infections in hotel quarantine. Residents and businesses in Melbourne and the Mitchell Shire are preparing to enter another 6 weeks of lockdown from midnight, prompting fresh concern about the economic recovery at both the state and national level, and renewed calls for the Morrison government to extend the JobKeeper scheme. Also today, residents in towns like Albury, Wodonga are coming to terms with the closure of the border between New South Wales and Victoria. The Premier of New South Wales telling people living on the border not to travel to other parts of the state as she considers localised quarantines. Stay with us throughout the afternoon on Afternoon Agenda. We will have you all the latest information as it comes to hand, particularly in Victoria. Our reporter standing by in Melbourne for you. Let's go live to Patrick MURRELL first of all. And Pat, the Prime Minister has backed Premier Andrew's drastic action but hopes lockdown will be shorter than planned.
That's right, Kieran. Victoria is the nation's second most populous state, but as of today, according to Prime Minister Scott Morrison, we are all Victorians, we are all Melburnians. The Prime Minister has backed Premier Andrew's drastic measures to return Greater Metropolitan Melbourne, 31 local government areas there, as well as the Shire of Mitchell on Melbourne's northern outskirts to Stage 3 restrictions. We understand, though, or he said that he hopes that it won't be the 6 weeks as is planned at the moment, that the lockdowns will be shorter than that and Victoria will be able to emerge from Stage 3 restrictions and begin to reopen its local economy a lot earlier than those 6 weeks ahead.
Right now, that job is, if you're a Melburnian, is to tough it out, and it'll be tough. But no, the rest of the country is with you. The rest of the country knows that the sacrifice that you're going through right now is not just for you and your own family, but it's for the broader Australian community. And I want to thank Melburnians. I want to thank them very much for how they're dealing with this right now. I can imagine the frustration.
And that lockdown begins from midnight tonight. It's for the Greater Metropolitan Melbourne area as well as the Shire of Mitchell. A massive police operation about to get underway to monitor travel outside of that area and also back in. ADF personnel will be on the ground as well. 264 uniformed personnel will be assisting police with on-the-ground operations. We know that Operation Sentinel already has about 500 police officers involved. That will be bolstered by the hundreds from tonight to 1,200, we understand. They'll be setting up booze bus-style operations on major routes out from Melbourne to regional Victoria, pulling people over and asking them why they're heading out there, turning them around and fining them if they're not travelling for essential reasons.
The window of police discretion is closing. We will issue infringements and it will be a very rare occasion, an exception where discretion is used. And when I say people are doing the right thing as a majority, we've still got others who are doing stupid, selfish, reckless actions.
Kieran, 134 new coronavirus cases detected in Victoria over the past 24 hours. Not quite as high as yesterday, but certainly still a very alarming figure. The Premier warning us that there are more days like this ahead, at least for the next 2 weeks. Now, of these new cases, 11 linked to existing outbreaks, a worrying 123 still under investigation, and we know that could mean community transmission. It is a lagging figure there. We've seen the number of positive cases inside those 9 public housing towers increased by 6 overnight to 72. Those 3,000 residents still essentially locked down inside their towers for the 4th consecutive day. Medical teams still going door to door there, testing everyone they can. That's expected to be finished by tonight, and once that's completed, the Premier says there will be a roadmap developed to move these residents from that extreme lockdown to Stage 3 restrictions in line with metropolitan Melbourne.
We've boosted capacity everywhere. These are specific arrangements for those towers. They'll be done, the processing, as quickly as possible, and that's a recognition that they're under a different set of rules, a harder set of rules than anybody else.
Schools have been affected as well, not those in regional Victoria but in the lockdown areas. While years 11, 12 and VCE students will return to classrooms as normal on Monday, prep to year 10 will have another week of holidays, and remote learning, a return to that looking increasingly likely, an announcement expected in the coming days.
Pat, thank you. Andrea Crothers is standing by at a pub in South Melbourne, preparing, like so many other venues, Andrea, for tonight's lockdown. What are the people there saying to you?
Look, Kieran, there's mixed opinion about the lockdowns, but one thing that everyone's sure of is they're basically here for their last drinks or their last supper, preparing for those lockdowns just 10 hours away now. Here's what a few of the people here had to say.
It's got to be done this way. We'll all deal with it, you know. We know what's in front of us. We can come back here in 6 weeks' time and celebrate again, I hope.
I think Dan Andrews done a fantastic job.
Annoyed, but it is what it is, right? So
it's sort of necessary, I guess. Yeah, we sort of have to do it. Keep everyone safe.
As for the business owners, hotel owners, pubs, bars, restaurants, they're getting pretty angry. They're sick and tired and fed up that it's had to come to this again. Many of them have cold rooms full of food that is set to go to waste, once again preparing to close their doors. One particular publican that we spoke to, well, he had a pretty strong message for the Premier.
I'm going to go out there. Dan should have just put his hand up yesterday. When he made his announcement, he should have resigned as well. He's pointing the finger at all us Victorians when a lot of us have been doing the right thing. He and his government have let us all down, and it's horrible. So Dan, please resign. Stand up and man up. Enough's enough. It's horrible.
No, I'm not considering that. What I'm not just considering but delivering is the appropriate response to this pandemic and seeing this through. That's what's most important, and that's what I'm going to get done.
The state government has indicated that more financial support will be on its way. The federal government also saying that.
There will be a further phase of support that goes beyond September. So there's been, and there will be. And I've said that to the Victorian Premier.
Well, Kieran, just under 10 hours now before that lockdown comes back into place. Similar scenes like this all across Melbourne as people come in for their last drinks.